What's up, guys? Today I want to share with you exactly to a T how I lost $42,000 in realized losses. Now, this sucks, right? It's not the end of the world. I've been doing this for 9 years. We're going to explain why I still have confidence, why a day like this isn't going to worry me. And all of it really has to do with the fact that the law of probabilities sucked for me today. And the other aspect is that I didn't trade against my system. So this is the first thing I want to talk about before we go through line by line, each and every single trade, and we'll talk about some mechanics that went wrong. But overall, I stuck to my strategy to perfection, but I still ended up losing $42,000. And because of that, I'm not mad at myself. Sometimes you can trade your strategy to perfection. You can hit the entry perfectly, you can have everything line up, and the trade just does not work out. You guys know that traditionally we have a 65% win rate, and today we had only a 30% win rate. So what would be alarming is if you saw me win a ton of trades and then one of these trades was like $40,000 loss or a $20,000 loss or something that is very out of the ordinary, because that indicates not that there's something wrong in the system, but that indicates that I'm just over positioning and using too much capital or not setting a stop loss relative to how I should be trading. But if you just notice all of these trades, nothing is out of the ordinary. There was one big loss on Meta, which was $16,000. This was the one that ruined me more than anything because I did actually let the stop loss hit. We're going to go over this position in a second, but I let the stop loss hit. And then from there, I just let it go through because there was a 5-minute support that I wanted to see if it would bounce off of. And it became one of those things where before I knew it, I was down 64%. So the first thing to notice here is that mechanically, this was just a bad day. 30% win rate, took 33 trades versus a normal trading day for me. I'll take 22 trades yesterday, day before 13, day before that 15. So on a day where I'm really trading a lot and I'm really pushing, on a good day, yeah, like yesterday, I'm trading 22 trades. And a bad day like today, we're taking 33 trades. Now, something to remember too is that some of these are swings. So a couple of these positions that you're going to see, they could have been losses that I've been holding for a little bit. And then I'm finally closing out at this moment because these are all realized profits and realized losses, meaning that the positions are actually closed out. The other thing that you're going to notice here is that under playbook, this is going to be the two types of strategies that we're using. Predominantly break of structure, which is a strategy that we teach within our community that goes all about breaking up into higher highs, and it sticks with the trend. The other one is going to be called the harmonic shark, which is a harmonic indicator that we use specific entries and exit points and specific Fibonacci levels, not the traditional ones that you would think of, in order to create a harmonic shark. So you do have to understand that with something like a harmonic shark, you're trading against the trend, which could make it harder for somebody who is new. Now we're going to go through line by line execution, each and every single one of these positions that I closed out today, why I did it, and ultimately what I could have done better in that situation, or if I felt like I traded it to perfection, why I feel like I traded it to perfection. So the first loss is going to be a swing trade that was intended on TTD, but I actually opened up that position today. You can see at 13.11, we ended up going in with 30 calls on TTD, and then we closed it 2 minutes before the end of market today. And you can see we took $1,000 loss. I posted this at 1:13, which you can see. The reason that we took this trade is because we had a 1-hour break of structure that was setting up. So at this point, we had price that was pushing through 82.50. We had pulled back down into this level and we were watching for a potential bounce. And you can see here that obviously, and unfortunately, that bounce did not happen. And since we closed underneath my stop loss, I ended up taking the loss, which was the smart thing to do. So in this case, I didn't do anything wrong with this trade. The next swing trade that I ended up closing, which I hope I was going to swing overnight, but I didn't, was Delta. This was May 17th puts. $2,431 was the loss. And you can see that I actually posted it on our Discord today at 1:37 p.m. And our plan was to hopefully reject here at $48 because we had this break of structure and we were looking to see a sell-off down to our liquidity zone. So I ended up going short here at 13.33. I went in with 100 of these puts and then I ended up closing it out for a $2,300 loss because we came up and actually rejected at this point. Now I'm going to be honest here, I didn't even notice this until this moment. I should have swung these overnight. because when I'm trading and when I'm using any of my strategies, we're always basing this off of candle closure. So on the 1 hour, I closed this out before the end of the day because it hit my alert, but I should have waited to see where this candle closed. And in theory, this should still be a live play on DAL until we see a candle closure underneath of that resistance as of tomorrow. So far, we are 2 for 2 right now for losers, but I'm not really mad about it. Like, I know that that sounds dumb. You have to think of this logically, that as long as we're trading the system to perfection, then it does not matter what the end result is, as long as we know that over thousands and thousands of patterns that we will make money. The next trade was ADSK, and this one we lost $6,000 on. This was just an absolute shit like trade. Like, hooked the trade at the right time. You see we entered here on 416 and we ended up closing that out today. But this is something that I'm still not mad about, right? We have this really solid bullish harmonic pattern that's setting up. This is a pattern that's looking to find the bottom in a massive sell-off. At the bottom left side of your screen, you'll see success rating is 79%. And if you would have followed each and every single one of these, you would have made a return over the past 10 years on ADSK alone of 174%. So with a win rate like this, of course I'm going to take the trade. So we ended up going long, and then today we gapped down massively overnight. So once again, stop loss is down here at 208. I cannot control this, so I'm not mad about the loss. Like, $6,000 in a loss sucks. Like, you have to remember, I didn't do anything wrong in this instance. The stop loss is down here at 207. If it hit stop loss and it just plummeted and I didn't sell it, then I'm an idiot. Then I'm doing something wrong. Then I have to work on discipline, or I don't have control, or I can't take a loss. But in this instance, we shouldn't be mad. Like, we shouldn't be upset. Boom, we hit the stop loss and then we closed. And look, I literally closed it at the absolute worst time. That's called the DiCarlo effect. It's a joke, but it really does suck. So in this instance now, we've taken the $10,000 in losses we've closed out on the day on something that we're not even upset about, right? Because it sucks, but we really didn't do anything too wrong in that instance. You know, shitty draw of the cards, but sometimes that just happens and you have to be okay with it. So going into the next trade, we have Intel. This was a day trade. You can see here, we ended up entering here at 14.59 and we ended up closing. That was a small loss. So I'm just gonna skip over that because there's not too much to learn from it. Now let's talk about Tesla, because I had a nice day trade on Tesla that I lost some money on. I think we can learn something here. So you can see that we ended up entering our first position at 14.43. So that is going to be 2.43 for those of you who are like me and can't really read military time that well. So 2.43, we get this big push here on Tesla on the 2 minute. So we're watching this break of structure. I'm actually just gonna get rid of this harmonic for you guys so it's easier to see. But we're watching this break of structure here at about 240. As we push up, we see this nice breakthrough here. And this is when we're looking to see if Tesla can continue to move its way back up to 160. So I'm playing the breakout, but I planned on 2 positions. So I wanted to start a trade in case we just kept running, and then average down somewhere around here, setting a stop loss on a break of this support level, which is what we did. You can see we couldn't hold. I averaged down, and then once we broke the support level, we closed it out, and once again took a loss. So far, 4 for 4, we've sold at the stop loss, but it just has not played out the way that we want it to. Moving on to CVX, which was the same exact type of setup here. You can see that we had calls 157. Once again, this was also a day trade, and I entered with the first half of my position here at 14.49 and then a little bit more at 14.53. So here we're looking for the push, 14.49. We start to sell off drastically down here. And then from this point, we end up breaking support right here at about 156.94. And we sell off drastically down here into like the 156.57. And luckily, once again, we closed right when we should have once we broke support. So now 5 for 5, still it sucks. The law of averages is not in our favor, even though if you look at the top right, at least 65 of the time we're right. So it's crazy that we lose 5% in a row, or I'm sorry, 5 trades in a row, but it happens. So what I'm going to do now is just go through and find the one that was the absolute worst loss to see if there really was anything that I did today that really screwed me. And I know the one that I did not trade well, the one that I'm really still mad at myself for, and that's going to be this meta position here. So something that you'll notice is definitely, first of all, unusual buying executions from me. So if you're somebody who's a part of my group, you know that I always average down on positions, but I don't average down for the sake of averaging down. What I do is I will sit there and say, okay, I want a total of 50 contracts because I view this as gambling, right? If I want 50 contracts here, then what I'm going to have to do is focus heavily on finding my average points before I get into the trade. So instead of just saying, you know what, I'm in and now I want to get in again and I want to continue to average down, we have to predefine where we're entering and where we're going to end up exiting our positions. So this here was on 4/16. So this was yesterday. We ended up entering here at about $5.90, which is what we spent on the contracts. And the price of meta at the time was like 502.59. Before the bell, because we sold off a little bit more, I added to my position. This is where I really kind of myself, because I'm trading all of this yesterday right here, you can see, based off of a 5-minute chart off of break of structure. So at this point, I'm looking for this sweep back up to test 504, which we didn't get the full thing. So we pulled back down here and then I averaged down before the end of the day. And as I said, this is where I messed up because my thought was like, you know what, whatever, we'll continue to run. And if we gap down overnight, I'll just take my loss there. So as we opened this morning at 9:35 a.m., I actually had a chance to get out of this trade near, or actually I think I had a small profit because my average was somewhere around here. And look, we tapped 504.1 2 times this morning. So we tap 504, I could have gotten out and we sell off. And now look at what I do, which is not normal of me, I'll be honest. I average in for a third time for 20 contracts. And I'm telling you this, guys, it's because I spend so much time with myself and so much time really thinking to myself, like, am I doing something? Being able to look at my trades later on like this dope, because I'll tell you, I averaged down here not because I felt so strong about meta. This is me like removing my ego. I did that because I was fucking pissed. Like I was pissed that I could have gotten out with a profit. It hit my target with close, like 0.58%. I was so mad that we didn't hit target, that I didn't close, that I was like, you know what, fuck it. We're coming back into support. I'm going to average down. And then when it comes back up, I'm going to take my profit. And it just never happened. And so I let it continue to sell off way further than I should, right? Because like I said to you guys right here, this is where I should have been taking my stop, 498. I waited till 492. So that was a fuck up. And what's crazy is that was a $16,000 loss. This loss could have probably only been about $8,000. Now, would it have helped me on a day like today where I'm down 42,000? Of course not. I mean, it still helped a bit, but this is just how it is. To share this with you guys, to show that no matter what, even if you trade well and you trade correctly, you can still lose. And even if you trade like shit, you can still win. And so your goal shouldn't be to make money. Your goal should really be to trade your system to perfection, because we don't know how we're going to perform today. We don't know how we're going to perform this week. We don't know how we're going to perform this month, but over thousands and thousands of trades. You guys can see here, literally almost over 1,000 trades so far. But that's what we're looking for. We're not looking to see how we perform over the next couple of days or couple of weeks. We're looking to see how we perform over the long haul. And you can actually see here on the right here, my net daily P&L. This is the worst single day that I have had since we started tracking the shark and all of the patterns over here on TradeZell. The last day before that was back in January when I took a $38,000 loss on Tesla. So we'll see what ends up happening, guys, which I still have Tesla, which is unrealized losses in those too. So I'll keep you guys posted. Let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know what happens when you take losses, what's a trigger for you, and really what you think is the biggest hurdle for you learning how to take a loss. Thanks for all the support, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace.